we the Odisha people, I can say repeatedly, we are lacking. We never researched on that. We never gone deep into that. And we are lacking this material culture. We are lacking research on the material culture. That's why you are dark. We are dark. Ancient history. We are in now many scholars from many of the university of the world. They are coming to Odisha to look at our urban centers, to look at our urban sites and trading pattern and studying all the sites. You see, people used to go from Palur, Khalakatapatna, this area. Generally, two way. One is this Myanmar way.
ଆମେ ଗାଇବା ଆମ କଳିଙ୍ଗ ଇତିହାସର ଆଜି ସଦ୍ୟତମ ଅଧ୍ୟାୟକୁ ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କୁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ସ୍ୱାଗତ ଜଣାଉଛି। ଆଜିର ଏହି କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମ ପରିଚାଳନା କରିବାରେ ମୋ ସହ ଅଛନ୍ତି ଶ୍ରୀମତୀ ପ୍ରୀତା ଏବଂ ସଞ୍ଜୟ ଏବଂ ଆଜି ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ସମସ୍ତ ସଦସ୍ୟଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ଦେଉଛି ଆମ ସହିତ ଆଜି ଯୋଗ ଦେଇଥିବା ପାଇଁ। ଆଜିର ବକ୍ତା ହେଉଛନ୍ତି ଶ୍ରୀଯୁକ୍ତ ସୁନୀଲ କୁମାର ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ, ଯିଏକି ଓଡ଼ିଶାରେ ଏକ ସୁପରିଚିତ ନାମ, ଜଣେ ଜଣାଶୁଣା ଆର୍କିଓଲୋଜିଷ୍ଟ, ହିଷ୍ଟୋରିଆନ୍ ଏବଂ ଅଥର ଭାବେ ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି। ସେ ଆମ କଳିଙ୍ଗ ଇତିହାସରେ ଏହା ପୂର୍ବରୁ ମଧ୍ୟ ତାଙ୍କର ବକ୍ତବ୍ୟ ଉପସ୍ଥାପନ କରିସାରିଛନ୍ତି ଏବଂ ଆଜି ସେ ଯେଉଁ ବିଷୟରେ ଆମକୁ କହିବା ପାଇଁ ଯାଉଛନ୍ତି ତାର ଶୀର୍ଷକ ହେଉଛି ଇଣ୍ଡିଆନ୍ ଓସିଆନ୍ ଆଣ୍ଡ କଳିଙ୍ଗ, ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଇନ୍ ମ୍ୟାରିଟାଇମ୍ ଏସିଆ ଆଣ୍ଡ ଆର୍କିଓଲୋଜିକାଲ ପର୍ସପେକ୍ଟିଭ। ନିକଟ ଅତୀତରେ ଡକ୍ଟର ସୁନୀଲ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ଯାଇଥିଲେ ପେନାଙ୍ଗ, ମାଲେସିଆ, ସେଠିକାର ଇତିହାସ ସମ୍ପର୍କିତ ଏକ କର୍ମଶାଳାରେ ଯୋଗ ଦେବା ପାଇଁ ଏବଂ ଆମେ ଆଶା କରୁଛୁ ଯେ ଆଜିର ବକ୍ତବ୍ୟ ଭିତରେ ନିଶ୍ଚିତ ଭାବରେ ତାଙ୍କର ସେ ଅନୁଭୂତିରୁ କିଛି ଅଂଶ ସେ ଆମ ସହ ବାଣ୍ଟିବେ। ତେବେ ଆଉ ଡେରି ନ କରି ଆମେ ଚାଲନ୍ତୁ ଶୁଣିବା ଆଜିର ବକ୍ତା ଡକ୍ଟର ସୁନୀଲ ପଟ୍ଟନାୟକ ମହୋଦୟଙ୍କୁ।
ନମସ୍କାର, ବହୁତ ବହୁତ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ ସୁନୀଲ ବାବୁ, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଇନଭାଇଟେସନ ଏବଂ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ରିକ୍ୱେଷ୍ଟ ଥିଲା ଆପଣ କିଛି ଯାଇଥିଲେ କିଛି କହିବେ ଆମର କଳିଙ୍ଗ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ବିଷୟରେ ଏବଂ ଇଟ୍ସ ସାଉଥ ଇଷ୍ଟ ଏସିଆନ୍ ରିଲେସନ or maritime Asia. In this regard, just I want to clarify, I will not repeat anything about whatever already been talked about, because many people and many seminars, conferences, everybody is talk about Kalinga Indonesia connection, Kalinga Bali connection, Kalinga Malaysia Sri Lanka connection. That I will try to avoid all these things because it is known to you all. Whatever reference in the literature, whatever regarding bhasha, regarding language and place names, everything. Before that, I want to put something what Kalinga is all about, what Odisha is all about, and I am concerned mostly ancient period, not at least after 10th century AD, before 10th century AD. My area of research, my area of work is concerned to ancient period. So whatever little bit done in this regard, that is, we are just moving here and there. What was Kalinga? What is the region? Why Kalinga was attacked by Ashoka? Or why Kalinga threatened rather Magadhan Empire? Why it happened 3rd century BC? That means 2500 years back. Why? What is the region there? After that, Kharavela has extended his empire, not both north and south. And after that, why you are in dark stage? All these things, since the topic is an archaeological perspective, I will throw some light on the recent researches done in Odishan context and how Odisha during this period, during 2 decades, have unfolded many new sites and many new evidences, many historical narratives has been developed on the basis of archaeological evidences, because archaeology is a major source for writing early history or history. Without archaeological evidences, without archaeological sources, we cannot write history. Of course, literature is another part. Still, archaeology or material culture, we are getting material culture from archaeological sites. In this regard, just see this map. Is it? Can you see it, this map? Hello.
Yes,
Aଜ୍ଞା
can see.
Hello. This map. This map is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, right from north, this is the Mahanadi. I am just concerned in the Mahanadi Delta. See, just go through their names because it is important to remember all these names. One is Radhanagar, Langudi, Lalitgiri. That is another is Daltihuda, Ostapur, Sisupalgarh, Swabarai, Aragad, Harirajpur, Kankaikuda, Manikapatna, Khalakatapatna, Palur, Lathi, Jaugarh, Dantapura. This is one of the core area of Kalinga of ancient days. Ancient days means before Ashoka and after Ashoka. These areas, because a lot of agencies, research institutes, people, they have taken initiative to excavate all these sites. Here, the very good phenomena is emerging. There are rural sites, villages. There are towns. There are port towns. One is village, which is supported to creation of cities, and the cities are sustained by the ports. In between, in the east coast, in between the east coast from Ganga to Godavari, we have three important ports. One is Tamralipti, in the northern Odisha, or West Bengal border, West Bengal and Odisha border on the in Hooghly near Rupnarayan river, and the middle one is Palur, and below that there is another place called Kalingapatna. These three ports are as old as the days of Ashoka, because Tamralipti is known very well, widely published, and it is very well accepted that it was a port developed in the pre-Mauryan period and enhanced during Mauryan period during the days of Ashoka. One in the north, Palur. Palur is everybody have accepted. It was mentioned by Ptolemy in 2nd century AD. Before that, it was also referred in Periplus and Pliny's natural history. After that, number of scholars have worked on that, but Palur was not properly identified till 2 years back. Somebody says Palur is in South Odisha, in near Dantapura. Some says some other places. We have taken up excavation there, archaeological excavations in Palur, port side, in 2023 and 24. There, I will show you in the slide. There we got, just I am giving the background, we got the material evidences right from pre-Ashokan period till 18th century. Likewise, Kalingapatna is another big port. It was also Mauryan, it belonged to Mauryan period, and there was a big stupa, and it was close to Dantapura. It was a urban site. Dantapura in Srikakulam district, Kalingapatna is also in Srikakulam district, and in between there is a place called Salihundam. So Kalingapatna, Salihundam and Dantapura is constituted as a culture complex. There is a pilgrim site in between. Dantapura is an urban site, and Kalingapatna is a port site. The same culture complex repeated. See the phenomenon, natural phenomenon in Palur area. Palur is another port. It is in Ganjam district. The nearby urban site is Jaugarh or Samapa, where we are getting Ashokan Eddic. That is again another urban center. It was a fortified center, fortified site. And coming upward, we are getting Sisupalgarh. Sisupalgarh is again surrounded by many of the villages. Swabari, it was excavated near Bhubaneswar. It was a Chalcolithic site, means it's a early urban, early farming culture site. Harirajpur, Golbai Sasam, Talapada, Ostapur, all these are early farming cultural sites. Likewise, but Sisupalgarh stained by some ports like Chelitalo, or Chelitalo is a medieval port, or maybe sustained by Palur again, or Manikapatna, that is in Chilka area again. And again, another big urban center is Radhanagar. Radhanagar is now in Jaspur district. It is near Jarka. And Radhanagar is another big urban center. It is pre-Mauryan, that date back to 4th century BC. And it continued up to 4th century AD. Here in Indian context, whatever you know, we call it second urbanization. The first urbanization is in urban civilization or Indus Valley civilization. That continued from 3500 BC to 1700 BC or 1600 BC. After that, there is a gap, and it is known as Vedic period, or different categorizations are there. And from 6th century BC onwards, we are getting Janapadas. By 4th century AD, by 4th century BC, we are getting another conglomeration of urban sites all over India, and that is called second urbanization. And during that period, Kasi, Kosala, Anga, Magadha, Chedi, Vatsa, Kalinga, all these regions, Asmaka in Andhra Pradesh, all these regions were tripped into or developed into urban centers. There again comes the Janapadas and again kingdoms. From that day onwards, we know the well-defined kingdoms in Indian context. Here, Odisha is also one of the major kingdom in India because of its iron technology. Here, on one more thing, and going back a little bit, iron technology used in Odisha from around 1400 BC, from around 800 BC. From 1400 BC to 800 BC, it was just a farming culture. Only people settled there, big villages were developed, and people were mostly dependent on domestication of animals and domestication of rice, domestication of plants, and they developed number of villages. Here in Odisha, number of such kind of villages have been excavated so far in Middle Mahanadi Valley, in Upper Mahanadi Valley, in Baleshwar district, Durga Devi, in Chilka area. So all these areas now, a graphic picture has been come out for Odishan studies, that there was a well-defined farming culture existed before 3rd, 4th century BC. And these are the developed villages. Here, one example I am giving. This is a place called Durga Devi. We have what here, this village. This is a village near Remuna in Baleshwar district. Now, you will find this is a fortified village. This is not urban center, but a very dignified, very well-developed village. And they have around 7-8 meter height, mud fortification, and the width is around 9 to 10 meter width, and height is around same 7-8 meter. So this kind of village pattern is now become a wonder, become a fact for the wonder. They become a general historians, they are not willing to accept such kind of a village developed in Odisha, and that too in North Odisha, and the kind of fortification they have developed, and the material culture what we are getting from that place, that it was a farming culture. We have dated it, carbon dating, we made it carbon dating process, and we found that the earliest phase belonged to 1350 BC. 1350 BC to 800 BC is the farming culture. And from 800 BC to 400 or 300 BC, there was a use of iron age. We call it iron age. And this kind of phenomena happened to most of the centers all over India, not in Odisha. This is a kind of phenomena, little bit up and down, but it was you can see in Maharashtra, you can see in South India, you can see in North India, everywhere. So they have given some kind of cultural, they made it cultural zones. So in 3-4 years back, we have excavated and we have studied it, that this kind of fortification, whatever coming out here, Now, many professors from well-researched centers, they said Odisha shows the way how fortification has been accepted by the people to develop and grow the cities like Alchatra, Osambi, and in some Ujjain in North India. So this is an example, and we are also bewildered how the village and how this kind of fortification, because it is visible, anyone can see it and anyone can test it, and it is just a village. But this kind of village is not. This kind of village is only known from some places in Maharashtra, like Inamgaon and some other places. But in Eastern India, now here it is proposed by some scholars that it is the example for North India as well as whole of Southeast Asia. Because Southeast Asia, there is a place called Sam Keo is a port site, and there exists a fortified village, and later it developed a port city. And the date is almost same. It is they call it prehistoric period, but it is around second, third century BC. There in some Keo it is in Thailand and Malaysia border. And one more thing here, uh, here we are getting three phases. One is iron age, one is Chalcolithic phase, that is farming culture, iron technology, and then early historical period. Early historical period, that site was abandoned. And this is the timeline in Odishan context. You see the early farming culture between 2100 BC to 800 BC, iron technology 1400 400 BC. It is differ place to place, site to site, but in general this is the timeline. Early cities 400 BC to 400 cities, early cities, then early medieval cities 400 to 1200 CE, then medieval and late medieval cities 1200 to colonial period. So this is the process how we calculate the metal culture, because these are the potsherds, and this is the pottery is called ABC of archaeology, because in Chalcolithic period and up to early historical period 4th century AD, 4th century BC, there is no written script. Whatever we understand the metal culture of that area or that region is only from the potsherds and iron implements and other beads and other things. So here the question comes again: what is the major crop in this area? What is the major domesticated food for the people? It is said that the rice is one of the staple food for Odishan people right from the prehistoric period. So when you study the rice, when it domesticated, rice is known to Odishan people long back since the beginning. But the domestication, when they use it, because it was available in wild form in Jaipur area, but it is known that from scientific study, rice is known to the Odishan people around 1400 BC or 1350 or 1400 BC. From that day onward, we started growing the fields. Before that, what? Before that, we were just hunting and gathering. Hunting କରୁଥିଲେ ଆଉ food gather କରୁଥିଲେ. But 1350 ବେଳକୁ ବା 1400 BC ବେଳକୁ settled life, rice ର field ହେଲା ଏବଂ rice grown area ଏଠି ହେଲା. Why it is important? Because rice is one of the linkage for Southeast Asian people, China and India. These three zones are linked with rice grown area zones, and rice one of the major study here. How rice was developed, how they cultivated, what kind of rice they cultivated, and wet rice, dry rice, many things. So there is a debate now in the world that who is the first user of the rice. Some scholars says that it is Southeast Asia, means that Cambodia, Thailand area. Southeast Asia, one of the progenitor of rice cultivation. China claims no, China is one of the originator of rice, and beginning of use of rice is there in China. Now we, particularly Indian people, more or less Odisha people and Southeast India people, that rice is one of the staple food and grown in this area, Southeast India or Eastern India. Because North India, rice, although rice is available in domestication form, but they are not grown wheat, they grow wheat. And we the people, the Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, this south belt, these areas historically, they are the zones where rice was grown. And we got the dates for rice around 1350 or 1300, 1400, around 1400 BC. See, when we got our food, we know the cultivation of rice, then think about how villages grow, how people settled. Before that, people were not settled. They are just living in a cave, they are moving, they are nomads, they are wherever they got food, they are migrating that place. Here again, in this level, we are coming slowly to the urbanization period. Around 4th century, this kind of depiction, this is in Java, because they love in this is a picture in Angkor. It is in
Borobudur?
Borobudur, yeah. This is in Borobudur. So this kind of depiction we are also getting in India. So these are the regions of Janpadas. It is around 6th century BC. And soon after, we are getting the Kalinga War. Here, because I am attending many of the seminars nowadays in India and in Odisha, some other places. Many people of Odisha, they are just thinking Kalinga War is a story. And they cannot correlate. Kalinga was such a great region, and it is all visible. All material cultures are just visible on earth. If you go to Dholi, study the edicts, go to Jaugarh, study the edicts, see the fortification. You go to Radhanagar, see the fortification, go to Sisupalgarh, see the fortification. Who built it? There is no name of king. Why this kind of cities were developed? Jaugarh, there was a big city. Radhanagar, there was a big city. Sisupalgarh, there was a big city during the time of Ashoka. And whatever is written, 1 lakh people died, 1,50,000 they have captured, all this. Here, the question is, because we have to study the material culture. And in comparison to all India level, in all Indian context, we will see it is astonishing. It is just like Magadha. Magadha is one of the major zone or developed zone during 4th century BC, because Nandas, Mauryas, Gupta, Chandragupta, they ruled there. But we never find our kings here. Never find means it will never get, but we have not yet researched, we have not yet gone deep, we have not yet excavated many things, because all are now buried. If you go from Mahanadi to Ganga, to Godavari, everywhere, every 5-10 kilometers, you find a mount, you find a religious place, you find an urban center, you find a food center, and the material is scattered. Why? Why? If you extend it up to Ganga here, this place to this place, everywhere, all the hills from Ganga to Godavari, all the hills are having the monuments, stupas, chaityas, of course, Buddhism, whatever it may be. There are historical edifices. If you have been to Lalitgiri, if you have been to Langudi, you could have realized it. Recently, we are getting number of monuments in the hills of Palur, in the hills of Langudi, in the hills of Saliundam, all this. Who made it? Why it happened? because Ashoka fought and ruined our city, ruined our state, ruined our region. And after that, soon after that, we are getting so many edifices. Why? Who? Without economic prosperity, how it come? How it has been possible? There is a economic prosperity, and there are people, and there is no king till coming of Kharavela. We don't have any kind of reference about the king who ruled, and there is no inscriptional references. There is no archaeological data available. Uh, 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 Along with, see the fortified sites. This is Dantapura. See the fortified. This is the plan. These are fortification. These are the gates. And this is one of the ancient more city. It was now in Srikakulam district, but it was in Kalinga. It was the first capital of Kalinga. And this is Jaugarh. There are 8 gates. It's a big city. And there is a small place called Lathi. It is near Barampur, towards south of Barampur. It is just adjoining Barampur, near on the way to Chikiti. And this is Sisupalgarh. And again, this is a small site called Talapada, near Rameshwar. And this is Radhanagar. Very big site. See the bricks of Mauryan period. Ashoka, this is the brick of Ashokan period. You will astonish. You can see it. And this is what kind of material evidences they left us for the posterity. And the thing is that we have to study it. And these are the all excavated sites. Here, this is the zones. These are the cultural zones. These are the cultural zones. Because cities, towns, harbors, they never develop any in isolation. They will develop in continuity. Whether sea is there to connect all the centers, or land route is there to connect the landward cities, towns, and other economic zones. It happened in 2,500 back, not now. And the same system is, the same process is continuing till today. This is one of the invention, historical invention. It is well researched in Southeast Asian context, in Indian context, as well as the Mediterranean context, whole of maritime Asian context. It is well researched. But we the Odisha people, I can say repeatedly, we are lacking. We never researched on that. We never gone deep into that. And we are lacking this material culture. We are lacking research on the material culture. That's why you are dark. We are dark. We are in dark to know who is where Kalinga War happened. And Kalinga War is not a small war. It is changed the perspective of Asian history. And Kalinga shows the way. Because of Kalinga, whole Southeast Asia was connected. Even Japan, China, Korea, it was connected to the whole Asia was connected because of Kalinga. This is a proud. We should be proud of it. We should go properly. We should present it. And these are the see the cultural complexes. How it is Tamralipti, and this is Mahanadi Valley. These are all are linked. Villages, towns, and port towns. Here again, Jaugarh, Dantapura, and Kalingapatna, and again Amaravati, Nagarjunakonda, Krishna Godavari Valley. Because all the Mahanadi Valley, Bansara Valley, Rishupalya Valley, Brahmani Valley, and this is the Lower Ganga Valley, all are connected. Whatever developed there, it is not in isolation. All are connected. Monks are there, pilgrims are there, people are there. So they are just moving here and there. And all this East Coast, things, the East Coast movement, see the metal culture. This is Mauryan bricks. These are the potteries related with, this is a Roman pottery, so-called Roman pottery. Now we say it is imitation pottery, but it is Roman pottery. This is northern black polished ware. It is urban pottery because it is found in northern India very much. So it is also found in Odisha and that to Radhanagar, Sisupalgarh, Palur, all along coast. And this is Roman pottery. it is found all the way wherever Roman connection is there. This is Roman connection from Egypt, from Mediterranean to Indian Ocean, to South India, East India, as well as to coastal areas of Southeast Asia. This Kedah and the Thailand area, even in Sri Lanka, yes, Sumatra, all are were just connected with trade for this port. This is called one of the port route. How it is, why we are getting all these ports from the same kind of ports from all these places? Because it was carried by the Roman traders during 1st century as AD, BC AD, like that, because that their period is like that. So this is one of the connecting, how the network, how the Asian regions are connected through the trade. And these are the terracottas, mostly related to Buddhism. And Buddhism, where just we are not giving any importance to Buddhism, study of Buddhism. Buddhism is one of the major factor for development of culture as well as trade and construction of cities from 3rd century BC till 6th century AD. For 900 years, all the sites in Odishan context and Southeast Indian context, or just Buddhism. Because Buddhism, it was people common people's. It is not question of religion, but it is a kind of cultural process that has given construction of monasteries, stupas, and on the coastal routes and the trade routes. They have established all from Tamralipti to Amravati, and from Tamralipti to Bodh Gaya, and Patliputra. It was connected to Patliputra, and again it was on the west coast too, from Nasik, from Chopara in Bombay, then Nasik, Ajanta, Ellora, and Bhaje, Karla, again Paithan, and it connect to Pumpuhar in Tamil Nadu. The same way here in eastern coast, it was from Tamliti, then Kalingapatna, Palur, and Arikamedu, then Kotapatnam, again Pumpuhar. How? It was this one network. For what? Only for Southeast Asian connection. Because Pumpuhar is connected well with the Southeast Asian countries, and Palur is connected to South Asian countries. Tamliti is connected to South Asian countries, because all the people, those who are going from Tamliti, they follow a different route. Those who are going to Southeast Asian from Palur, they are following a different route. Those who are going from Pumpuar, they are following another route. But mostly, there are two places. One is Sri Lanka, Mantai in Sri Lanka, and here in Malacca in Kedah area, Bujang Valley in Malaysia. These are the two center places. Whosoever goes from India, they have to touch these places, because these are the transporting, they are the major junctions. They have to wait for the favorable wind. They have to wait to unload and upload their goods. They have to take some rest and exchange their goods. So this kind of system, it was prevailing, and it is very well researched by the scholar. And these are the sea. This is a seal from 2nd century BC, Sadabutisa, and this is Vijaya, and this is Buddha head. It's alien Buddha head. It has some foreign influence. This is elephant. This is Kayama again, another place near Radhanagar. And these are the Langudi you see. When urbanization developed, once urbanization developed means the same phenomena here you can study in Bhune, in the case of Bhubaneswar also. Wherever urbanization develops now, two things are important. One is trade route, another is center of arts. Art center and trade routes, trade centers, it should be developed alongside the urban center. Otherwise, urban center will not be sustained. So this phenomena you can very well study it in ancient Indian society. And Odisha contributing a major share, major jump of the share to the study of this kind of phenomena in ancient history. And now many scholars from many of the university of the world. They are coming to Odisha to look at our urban centers, to look at our urban sites and trading pattern and studying all the sites. You see, this is the Langudi Buddha image. Here, Buddha image supposed to be developed in India. Any image is developed in India around 1st century BC or AD during that period. Before that, there is no image of god and goddesses. There were images of Jaki and fertility gods, but there was no stone images of the god and goddesses before 1st century, 2000 years back. So, so far our study says, whatever written anywhere, I don't know, but whatever the systematic study has been done in India, the Indian scholars, it was only in 1st century BC or AD. Only the human, the figure of the god and goddesses have developed. So this is one of the earliest image in India. This Buddha image, because in India, Buddha image evolved in Gandhara and Mathura around the same period, 1st century BC. Here also in Langudi, this is the same period. It is already dated, and the same period we are getting the figure, because this is the transition from Hinayan Buddhism to Mahayan Buddhism. In Theravada Buddhism or Hinayan Buddhism, there is no image. There was only symbol worship. And in Mahayan Buddhism, there was a then they started to evolve the Buddha as a human form. So from that day onwards, all the images evolved. So this is one of the major center in India now. We are focusing that Odisha is one of the earliest, art center. Whatever it may be, Buddhist art or whatever, but art center. It is one of, this is the major evidence that we have evolved in our research, that at par with all India phenomena like Gandhara in northwest, like Mathura in central India, and Amaravati in south India, Odisha is one of the major art center. We know very well that from 7th century onwards we have developed temples, but before 7th century AD to 3rd century BC, where in 3rd century BC we are having an elephant figure in Dowry. After that, what? We have Kharwala's monument at Khandagiri Udayagiri. There we are getting number of animals, Greek influence animals, foreign winged animals, number of animals and human figures, but there is no God. And during that period, human God evolved as human form in Langudi. And from Kharwala's Khandagiri Udayagiri, as this Langudi, Lalitgiri, all these places we are claiming, Odisha one of the earliest art center in India. And temple came later in 7th century, 7th century AD. Before that we have early Buddhist art. And these are the marbles of, monasteries, stupas during 1st century AD or BC to till 14th century AD. This is another place called Aragon. Here, if you climb the hill, it is near Jatni and just adjoining to IIT. This is a huge monument. The stupa site. It's a very big monument. But who constructed it? It is one of the earliest monument in India. Who constructed it? I am putting the questions and I will answer at the end. Who constructed it? We don't know who constructed it. There is no inscription, there is no name of king, and it is all the common people's creation. And these are the sites in the East Coast. Look at all these are visible remains are available here. This is one of the another place. It was earlier in Kalinga, now in Srikakulam district, in between Dantapura and Kalinga. This is Bansadhara river. Look at the river, and this is called Saliundam. And this hill, whole hill is dotted with monuments, artifacts, and many buildings are there existed in this building. Who constructed this kind of buildings? This is Saliundam, this is Kalingapatna, this is Dantapura. Because we have to have study ancient Indian history, if you concentrate ancient history of Odisha, you have to study ancient history of Andhra Pradesh, present Andhra Pradesh, and ancient history of Bengal. To some extent also Chhattisgarh. Otherwise, we can't get the clue. This is the, these are the places, how it is connected. These are the major port centers. These three, what I have already discussed. This is how Mahanadi Delta is having many sites, archaeological sites. It is all documented now. This is Tamralipti. These are the material remains. And nearby it is Chandraketugod, that is again an urban center. And we are coming down to Palur area. This is a Palur archaeological port site. Here, Palur is just not a simple village. Here is the Palur, but in around it's a region. Palur is a region. Nearby Palur, it is in Chilka, southern end of the Chilka. And another small port is Gaurampatna. Manikapatna is here. And here is Jaugarh. This area, now we are studying this site. We are astonished to see that how this site has opened up a new floodlight of research in Odisha context. This is the stupa we found in the Palur hill. This is the hilltop, and it was not known earlier. Some says it was a lighthouse, some says it's a Dipawadia, something they said. But when we entered into, after climbing 3,000 feet top, we found this is the stupa. And up 2nd century, 3rd century BC, just like Aragar. This is our findings. These are the beads. These are the carnelian beads, semi-precious stone beads. This is snodware. I am having graffiti marks. These are the copper coins. And these are the exotic potteries. This is a very unique pottery. This is northern block polished ware, Nordware, and this is some kind of Roman ware. These are the graffiti marks. We are getting a lot of potteries having graffiti marks. Graffiti mark means it was symbol that expresses the language, because there was no script at that time. So they convey their message through the different kind of symbols. We have got around 200 graffiti marks, and it was the largest from this port site, because the traders came from different places. They just express their units of measurement, and what kind of weights and all that they have engraved in the potsherds. It is found in different places. This is Pothagar. This is Manikapatna. Here it was earlier excavated. It is a port site again. These are the tangible evidences. This is Korothi inscription. This is Amphora Roman ware. This is Indonesian terracotta. This is Indonesian bronze. This is Chinese coin, and this is Ceylonese coin. We are getting from Manikapatna. It is quite close to Puri, and it is nearer to Palur also. It was the same region. This is Mahendragiri, where we get the first stone temple around 6th century AD. And Mahendragiri played an important role for maritime activities, as well as it was one of the border area for the invaders coming from south, like Cholos and Pulakesi, Cholo, Rajendra Cholo, like that. So it is an important landmark in Odishan history. And now coming to connecting the Southeast Asia, Southeast India, and Asia together. Now we have enough material that connecting the whole of Southeast Asia, because we have a number of mythologies, number of traditions, number of written documents too in literature, that Kalinga Sagar, Mahododhi, whatever available, that is due to the activities of these people, the ancient people, because the strong notion that developed because they were doing that. They were doing the trade all along the east coast, all along the Southeast Asian coast. So that actually carry forward today with folklore, with our tradition of Bali Yatra and Kudurikuni Osa or Mahajan or whatever things are there. That gives us a strong base to study these material cultures. And now we are giving how it is connected this Southeast Asia, Southeast Southeast coast of India, this India with other part of India. This is earlier in literature we are getting, or in history books we are getting, that there are two trade routes. One is connected to Central Asia to Central India. It is and connected to China in land route. That is called Uttarapatha, or you can say it Silk Route. It is Uttarapatha. It was written in. It was connected to Central India, Central Asia, and this is again in China. Vensa came all the way in this route, and it was connected up to Tamralipti. And another route from Ujjain, from here and connected to Patliputra and Ujjain, and it goes to South India. That is Dakhinapatha. This is called Dakhinapatha. In between, there are connecting routes. Now, after our work in the East Coast, by giving all these urban centers, port centers, and monuments, all along the East Coast, we are giving the nomenclature now. It is Purviya Patha. This Purviya Patha, because this Purviya Patha is one of the torchbearer of development of trade and commerce in ancient India, that it was connected to both way Southeast Asia as well as Central Asia, because it was very well connected to Southeast Asian countries here, and Tamliti, then Magadha, then this following this route to Central Asia. And it was in the south also, it was connected to South India, the hub Amaravati, Nagarjunakonda, then Kaviripatnam or Pumpuha, this is Pumpuha. All these port cities were well connected with this Purviya Patha. It was the new nomenclature we are trying to work out in this area, and we have already termed it Purviya Patha. Now it is the uh, arena of researchers. Many researchers they are working on it, and how Ptolemy in 2nd century AD, he has mentioned all the way from Sri Lanka, Palur to Southeast Asian countries. He is a Greek geographer, and this is how it is connected to how East Coast is connected to Mudris. This is a Kerala and Sri Lanka, and it is connected all the way to Southeast, all the connected to Central Asia. These are our evidences we are getting from different places, related where Norway, Roman terracotta bulle, nail suits, and even our gods like the Astamaya Tara is a savior god. These are the foreign origin objects we are getting from East Coast, from our area. And now, these are the places in Southeast Asia. These places are excavated. In Cambodia, OCEO, Angkor Borai, in Mekong Delta, Champa, Vietnam, Bokam, Linear Trakin, West Java, Turumnagar, Botujaya, Sumatra, Srivijaya. That is a region. Srivijaya means it's a region area. Banka Island, Kotakapur, Sambarin, and then again Thai Malaya Peninsula, Chaya, ancient Panpan, Nakhon Tamil, ancient Tamilingo, Patani, ancient Lamsuka, Santigapa and Kedah, Khao Sam Keo is a fortified city. Thailand, Dontapet or Glass Beach. So these are the material culture which are giving from all these places. Now we have just started studying all these materials, and we require more scholars to work on this, because once we study all these materials of that side, southeastern side, then we can compare whatever material cultures available in with us. Then only we get the thing behind its interaction. People say, the researchers say, from botanical transplantation, there was a botanical transformation between Southeast Asia and India or Odisha long before the historical period, like coconut or banana. It was transplantation of botanical among the land, and there are so many like beads, glass beads, and stone beads, bangles, then graffiti marks, pots, ceramics. All these were found from these places, and of course there is a amount of religion is also there. This is how we are concerned with this place, and this is Kheda, because this Kheda is in Malaysia, Penang, near Penang, Bujang Valley. The whole thing is called Bujang Valley. They are working, whole of Malaysian people, scholars, they are working from last 10-15 years in this valley. Many professors from many universities of that area, they are working. They still continuing the work here to unfold the historical truth, because it was a town, it was a city on river, it was a junction to connect it to the Indonesia, to connect it China, to connect Thailand, to connect it Vietnam. It was just this is Thailand, this is Vietnam, this is Myanmar, this is India, and this is Sri Lanka. People used to go from Palur, Khalakatapatna, this area, generally two way. One is this Myanmar way, Burma this way. It is mostly connected to land route in ancient period, and they come to Sri Lanka and again to here Kedah. From here they used to go different places like Sumatra, like Borneo and Indonesia, all these places, and some to China. Here, why there are written records also. Payan is given a description. He stayed here, Kedah. For 4 months he stayed here. He said, he returned that many people, many traders from Kalinga and other places, they were in the same boat where Payan was traveling to Kedah. So it is written in his report. There are other reports are available, like Journey of Pragya and Tisa, and these are the reports available here about the ports of Southeast Asia and our east coast or eastern Indian areas. This is the one of the major interaction among the Southeast Asian ports and Odishan ports or Indian port. It is just like these are all beads, glass beads, and wares and Haitian bronze. Because Haitian bronze produced only in Southeast Asia, it was transported to Odishan region, Kalinga region, or East Coast area. So these are the areas of red mark and this mark. So this is found from Sisupalgarh, now many other places. And this is Kedah. This is the area where they are working now. The interesting finding is that where we are working, they have got a stupa in this. This is a hill in Kedah area. In the hilltop, they got a stupa here, and this stupa, they got an inscription. This is Sanskrit inscription, and this is stupa, and this is the image. Here there are 4 images on 4 sides, but they got only 2 or 3 images. Then this is the Sanskrit inscription. This kind of Buddha statue they got here in that stupa. This belongs to 7th century, 6th-7th century AD. That stupa, what we have studied, is as much as our stupa at Udaygiri. The same kind of stupa. Here 4 images are there. Of course, these are all Bodhisattva images are there, or Adi-Buddha images are there, and this kind of Buddha images also they found. The interesting finding is that this inscription This inscription says it was just like a Dharani mantra. That kind of Dharani mantra we are very well getting from Udayagiri and Ratnagiri. This kind of religious connection between Kheda and our people just now started. And it is very well known that Nalanda, Ratnagiri or Udayagiri, our area, and Borbadur and all of Southeast Asia, it was well connected during the period from 6th, 7th century, 8th century till 12th century AD. So it was the basic reason behind it is that the Buddhism. Buddhism played a major role. One is Vajrayana Buddhism. That flows like anything. It was earlier, it was there. There was Buddhism, Mayan Buddhism also moving around. But when the Vajrayana Buddha developed, because Vajrayana Buddha is a mass religion, it was mixed with Tantrism, and there are many mantras developed to protect the people, to protect the house, to protect the family. So that kind of protection was given by the Vajrayana Buddhism. Later it was accepted by Tantrism in general. So that kind of tablets, thousands of tablets, at least some 500 or 600 tablets we are getting from Udayagiri. Same also we have from Ratnagiri, and in sporadic manner from other places. That is called Dharani mantra. So that kind of the phenomena that happened in East Coast in Odisha region, and it was in mid period. It is after 5th, 6th century AD. So 3rd century BC till Kharavela, and after Kharavela there are principalities because Odisha was not united. It was divided into many mandala states, small principalities till coming of the 6th century under Sailadhavas. From Sailadhavas, the Kangodo area, Odisha was unified. From that day onwards, we are getting this Vajrayana and this kind of tantric images and Somavanshis, Bhaumapura period till Ganga period, all that. So to study the history of Odisha, study the material cultures of Odisha from 4th century BC to 4th century AD is a different thing. It is altogether different. It is giving a sequence that we have urban centers, we have a lot of civilized, monuments, edifices, inscriptions, many things. And after that but we are coming to dynastic history. Rulers, kings, commoners, they have inscriptions, they have donations, and their lands were given, donated to people. So this kind of temple thing that comes after 7th century AD. So before 7th century AD to 4th century BC, the history is different. From 7th century onward, the history is different. And these are the trading centers. You see, it is all well known in history, and it is many papers have written on that. Many books are also written that. This is Mastangad and Tamralipti, Manikapatna, Palur, Kalingapatna, Arikamedu, this Anuradhapura, this Samarama, and Kheda, all these Indonesia, Battajaya in Java, all these places are well connected with both with the traders and trading communities. This is Khalakatapatna, one more site in near Konar. It was excavated by ASI long back, and here we are getting many more Chinese ceramics, Chinese artifacts from this Khalakatapatna port. It was survived for 200 years only, 13th century AD, during the construction of Konar Sun Temple. So this is another small port, and it is more and more Chinese artifacts we are getting from this place. And these are the palm leaf manuscripts. Many people have already highlighted all these things. I have nothing more to say. But the thing is that the direction of our research has to be changed, and we have to study meticulously because it's just not possible to speak all about in one hour lecture or 2 hour lecture. we are working for one period, 100 years, 50 years, one site, two site, like that, so that it will be more or less discussed elaborately. This is Cambodia. We have some kind of influence there, but more research is required. How, in what way it is influenced? Where it is here, uh, it is said that Khmer period, there was some kind of influence, but it is general phenomenon whole of Southeast Asia. That people, it was earlier discussed that Indian nation, but Indian nation theory now outrightly rejected by the scholars of Southeast Asia. It is just a coexistence, because it is just mixture of ideas, mixture of culture, and they develop their culture on their own way, but they have some influence, some impact of Indian culture there in their existing culture. And this is rice, silk, and goods, how it was transported. Thank you. Thank you very much.